Hey, Pathfinders, how's it going? What is going on? It's your girl, Deborah the Queen, and welcome back to Light the Path podcast. Got another good episode for you. I know you're excited for this because I am. We have a wonderful guest here, and you're going to thoroughly, absolutely enjoy this conversation. If you haven't already, connect on social media and then also subscribe right here on YouTube so that way you can see each and every episode live and in person, okay? And then it's also available on all audio platforms. So make sure you do that. But listen, let me get my glasses on so I can read this intro to you. Today's conversation invites us to slow down and examine how identity is shaped, not only by what we go through, but how we're seen. My guest, Vikki, is a speaker and writer exploring identity, perception, and visibility. After a life-altering health experience at 34, Vikki became deeply curious about how confidence and authority are influenced by assumptions, appearances, and self-perception. Now, does that sound like something for you? If not, press pause, come back, send this to someone that you love so that way they can also be included in this conversation. This is not just a conversation centered on trauma, but on meaning, on resilience, self-trust, and the unforeseen force that shapes how we show up in the world. Do you want to show up better? Do you want to show up as your true self? This conversation is for you. If you've ever felt misunderstood, overlooked, or quietly redefined by something you didn't choose, this episode will meet you right where you are. Help me welcome our guest, Vikki, to Light the Path podcast.
Hi, so lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so good to have you. Thank you so much. Ooh, before we start, look, tell us, before life changed so dramatically for you, how did you understand your identity and how would you describe it now?
Oh, great question. So before everything happened, I think my identity was built in a way that's really, really common. I had roles, I had signals. I was a girlfriend, I was a wife, I was a compliance director. I did my hair a certain way, I did my makeup the way we should, I wore the clothes we should. And all of those things meant that I was a confident version of myself that felt like I was doing life right. And that was my identity. I was a career professional. I was newly married. I had a young daughter. So I was a mum boss, girl boss, all those things were supposed to be. I was well groomed. I looked aesthetically pleasing, as women should do. And then cancer came and it quietly just dismantled that entire structure that I'd built. And the surgery changed my face, the treatment changed my energy, and bit by bit, the version of me that people recognized just no longer existed. The hair that I coiffed was all falling out. I didn't have a nose anymore. And I just could barely get out of bed some days. Going from being girl boss to that's quite hard. And it forced me to confront the question that I don't think we ever ask, that if you had to take all of these things that you think are you away and that signal who you truly are, that pair of trainers that you think is you and the paint on your walls that you think is who I really am, who are you when all that's gone? And how do you decide who it is? And I sort of worked out that identity isn't a thing that we inherit from our culture or our background. And it's not something that we can perform either. So, oh, I saw this on Instagram and it looks great, so I'll do that. Or I feel like a director should be like this, so I'll do that. It's very much something we have to author. And we have to go inside of ourselves and decide, what do we want our story to be? And which character does that mean we have to show up of? And I believe that we all have different characters inside of us. The character that got me through cancer and surgery and treatment is not the character that puts my toddler to bed or that goes to work and sits at a board table. We all have these different characters. And our identity is when we choose to use these characters and how they show up for us. And I just yeah, very much learned that not only is identity fluid and flexible in that way, but it's also fluid and flexible in the circumstances that life puts in front of us. The person I am now is not the person I was 2 years ago. I can't go back, she can't come forward, because the things that happen to us show us more and more about the potential of our identity and create more characters inside of us.
I love that. I love that you speak of multiple, because sometimes, in society, we want to be one way, right? We're all going the same way. We're all, like you were saying, we're all dressing the same way. We're all doing the same. When really we have multiple, we're multi-dimensional.
Yeah,
And so the Bible speaks about that we're wonderfully complexly made. So it's like, why would we just be one way? So I love how you speak how there are several parts of us that can show up in the world. That's beautiful. So you explore how confidence and authority are shaped by how we're seen. What did you start noticing about people's assumptions once your visibility changed, your outward appearance changed?
Oh, so this was really interesting, because I noticed how quickly people update their assumptions on you based on what they can
Mm.
see. So friends that knew me for years suddenly treated me like I was fragile. I needed sympathy. I was like this delicate flower that couldn't go out and do things. And yes, when I was under chemotherapy, 100% true. But when I started to come back, it's like they were shocked that I had the strength in me to go to a shop or to parent my toddler. And I'd gone from being this competent, capable authority that they all came to with their problems, and I was like mama hen of my friendship group, to all of a sudden they were treating me like a child and like I really needed help with everything. And I mean everything. Like, I renovated an entire house on my own, and all of a sudden my friends were offering to put up shelves for me as if I didn't know. And I was like, the only thing that's changed is how I look. Like, nothing about my mind had changed, nothing about my life experience, but their perception of me changed the minute that I looked differently. And I think it doesn't need to be as radical as having your nose removed. It can be you've put on a bit of weight, you've lost a bit of weight, you are suddenly very muscular, you're dressing differently. Maybe you're always very glamorous and now you've decided to enter a sweatpant era. Like, however that looks, people very quickly decide you're a whole new person just because you look different. And it made me realize that if it's that easy for other people to change how they're looking at you, then all of these things we think are internal qualities, they're not really. They're just social signals that we're giving all the time. And therefore, all of those outward signals can just change as quickly as everyone changed their minds about you. So you can be in control of which one of those characters is showing up, how that character shows up. And you can also put a little more thought into how you are showing up in a situation, and how perhaps if somebody is going to discredit you a little bit or think of you a certain way because of how you look, how you can go and improve them wrong. Because unfortunately, that is something that you do have to do.
That's so good. You can prove them wrong. You can't necessarily judge a book by its cover. So when you were going through the cancer situation, do you feel like your personality changed at all, where they possibly picked up on that and said, you know what, she's changed? Or were you still sort of yourself?
It's quite an interesting one, because I think when people have cancer, everybody goes, oh, they're so strong, they're so resilient. And you get that rebrand, don't you? No matter who you were in the life you lived before, if you can overcome cancer, all of a sudden you're this hero. It's amazing. But when cancer changes how you look, you don't seem to get that. So I beat cancer and should have been living this like, she's such a hero, she's so strong. But instead, everybody seemed to decide that I was weak and I was fragile and I needed protecting. And people that saw me in the street, like, I'm a mid-30s woman. There's no reason why an elderly lady should be offering me help, but they do regularly, because I'm now seen as a vulnerable person that needs support, rather than like last year, kicked cancer's butt. Like, I've got this, I'm okay. So yeah, it's quite an interesting, I think my personality changed in that lovely way that everyone who goes through anything changes. That's what life does, it changes us. So I do think I am different in many ways. I am warmer. I have recognized the importance of people and how we all support each other. I probably communicate better than I did because I'm not bottling up emotions. But I didn't become this vulnerable person that people look at me and think I am. And I certainly didn't become the pity case that people think I am. I just want to live a normal life. I don't want to be put on a pedestal because I was so brave to go to the shop or anything. And I also don't want to be looked at with a little cocked head and, oh, all the time. So there's a really interesting like switch between, if anything, I became stronger, but now you all think I'm weaker.
Oh, this is so good. This is such a good perspective to hear because us on the other side that are cocking our head like, oh, you're helping us right now to stop it. Turn your head. She's strong. She's better. She's doing great. That's so good. So how do you personally define confidence today? And how is it different from what you once believed before?
I think I used to think that confidence was a feeling, and that if you could be certain enough, if you were capable and practiced enough, if you were comfortable enough, that if you were perfect enough, then you would feel confident. And I got there. I was a confident young lady. But I think eventually, for all of us, life removes those feelings from you, whether it's in new parenthood, in divorce, in a breakup situation, you lose your job, you are unfortunate enough to become poorly. There are 1,000 ways that life takes those feelings away from you. And if you allow confidence to just be those feelings of comfort and certainty and capability, then you'll just never be confident, not truly, because it can all just be worked away. So for me today, I think confidence is the willingness to keep showing up as yourself, even when the world doesn't understand what that is. And just know, not in a loud or performative way, but just in a quiet refusal to shrink and bend into somebody else's perception. It would be really, really easy for me to say, yeah, I'm weak and vulnerable. Please do everything for me. take my life from me. But that won't be good for me. That won't be good for my confidence to be self-reliant. And it wouldn't be true to who I am. I wish I were one of those women who would happily just let everyone in my life serve me. I wish I was in that level of feminine energy, but I'm not. I am a project managing control freak. And I have to be confident in that. And I have to be confident enough to step into it, not shrink, and make the decision in a situation to show up as I am, even if it feels wrong and everyone around me is acting like it's wrong. I need to do that. And that for me is, I suppose, the new understanding of confidence.
And that's going to help us all get this new confidence. So I love that. I love the way that you put that. The perspective is so good. It's helping all of us, especially those who are listening. And we've been there. All these things that you're saying, we've been there. We're like, ah. So I love that this is going to resonate with so many people. What unseen pressures do people carry when their story is visible on the outside, but misunderstood on the inside?
Oh, great question. I think when something visibly changes about you, whether it's illness, injury, trauma, maybe you're born with a visible difference, the world thinks it just understands. So for a period after my surgery, before I started reconstruction, I had a plastic cup taped to my face to cover the hole. And so many people made the assumption that I had a sporting injury or I'd been punched on the nose. And that was just what people thought. And then the other half of people thought I'd had a nose job. It was Christmas time. They all thought my husband had bought me a nose job for Christmas. And that was it. And this was the story that people just had. And they're no less more or less offensive than cancer, like fine. But it's this weird tension where my experience was really, really public. And the truth of my experience, the battling cancer, the change in my appearance, the mental Olympics that I was doing to navigate the fact that my 1-year-old daughter was going to be scared of her mummy maybe and didn't understand what was going on. Was I still going to be here for her? All of that, totally private. But people look at me and they just assume they know what's going on. And that's it. And it's a bit like when you're pregnant, everyone thinks they own you a little bit because there's something different about you. So they're like, oh, I'll just ask you everything. But you know how awful you feel and how you were being sick just an hour ago. But everyone wants to tell you you're glowing and stroke your bump and tell you what a magical thing you're doing. And people can see the scars, they can see the treatment, they can see the moments if you had a little cry or anything like that, but they can't see the whole loss of self and shifting that's happening under the surface. And I think that's a huge invisible pressure to manage other people's reactions and other people's comfort, really, because it's difficult. You want to reassure them. You want to appear strong, like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's okay, I'm getting through this. And you want to avoid making them uncomfortable. And obviously bringing it home to this could happen to anyone. But also, like, we don't deal very well with that level of vulnerability to say, actually, my face is kind of who I am. If you, like, literally my ID has my face on it. And that's who people look at and say, that's you. So now I'm not me anymore. And I remember crying to my husband at one point and saying, I don't look like my family anymore. Like, I'm a human. Do I still belong in my tribe? Because I don't look like my tribe. And I just think the biggest emotional labor isn't necessarily the physical healing. I did the radiotherapy, I did the chemotherapy, I did the surgeries, I did the reconstructive surgeries, I did getting back to fitness afterwards. And I think the hardest bit is navigating everyone else's feelings and everyone else's stories that they decide to say about you. And that's why the identity piece became so important to me, because it would have been really easy for me to just attach to someone else's story and say, yeah, that's who I am now. I'm the cancer girl. I'm the one that should just hide away and I don't go out much and I don't do anything. That would have been so easy. But the taking charge and doing it for myself was difficult, but 100% required.
Ooh, managing other people's feelings, managing other people's stories. One person, okay, y'all listen in. You were holding your hand saying this. We are not gonna manage your stories in your head about us. We're done with that. Ooh, that is so good. And that is so heavy and so hard to do. And this can be anybody. And this is why I love your story, because it's a unique story with the reconstruction and all the things, but it's also a story that other people can relate to because of other parts of our lives where we put our identity into, right? So our face, our ID, having our faces, this is all of us. And so that's why I'm so thankful that you came on to share, because it's going to really help so many people hearing this, because we are not managing y'all stories anymore. You're gonna think what you want to think because that is so much. Can we imagine all the things that you had to go through, and then now you're trying to manage our stories, help us feel better about what you're going through.
Yeah, I had enough stories myself. I was telling myself that my husband wouldn't fancy me anymore. My daughter would never look up to me. She'd think I was a bit of I'd be embarrassing to her. I couldn't sit at a board table anymore because who would think I was capable? I had brought shame upon my family. I had all of my own stories to work through. I didn't need everyone else to make up their story. And like my postman at one point asked me if my husband had punched me. He'd put me in a domestic abuse situation with the loveliest man just because he'd made up a story about me. That's what he'd decided. The only reason why I would have protective gear over my nose at Christmas is because my husband had a few beers and punched me. And it's just absolutely wild. And you just think it takes so much mental, emotional, physical capacity to just keep your own mind in check and get through what you're going through without adding everyone else's story to it already.
Absolutely. This is my final question. For someone who feels like life has written their identity without permission, what would you want them to know about rebuilding self-trust and presence?
Oh, I think the first thing I'd say is that life can rewrite your circumstances, but it never gets a final say on your identity. That part, that is all you. It's 100%. And the hardest part after any life disruption, I think, is like an identity lag, because the world likes to pretend that nothing happened. The world likes to pretend that you're still the same person, that old version of you that it remembers, you still fit in all the same boxes, that's it. And you know that you're changing, evolving, rebuilding, stepping into who you are, claiming your space, you're doing all of that. And that gap can really make you question yourself. And I think when you start to step into the space before the room gives you permission, you become yourself, you take up that space before everyone says, oh yeah, well, that's okay, we'll let you do that, and they update their version of you. That's where your self-trust comes from, because then you're doing it for you and you are moving your own life forward, and you quietly start to live as this person that you're becoming and your true self, and it's authentic, and it will be a huge contradiction 1 minute and then it will be wholly connected and aligned the next. It won't always be perfect, but you let people misunderstand you for a little while because you understand you. And that is where the self-trust, the self-belief, all of that comes from. Once you understand what's going on in your head, your heart, with your faith, with the wider world and how you're interpreting it, that is when you start to trust yourself and believe in yourself.
It's so good, Vikki. I am so thankful for your story. Thank you for sharing it here with the Pathfinders. Let everybody know where they can connect with you on social media.
So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Vikkidotcom, all words. And there I share a lot about my story and I share my writings on identity.
So very good. Pathfinders, remember that sharing our experiences is not only empowering, it can help light the path. We did it. Ooh, that was so good. All right. And then we will do the bonus question. Let's see. Let me do a countdown before I ask that. Here we go. There we go. Hey, Pathfinders, welcome back. I still have Vikki here, and this is your closer clip. Ooh, we got one hot bonus question. Look, ooh, this is a good one. How has this journey changed the way you decide when to speak, when to stay silent, and when to take up space in a room?
Oh, great one. I think before, my when to speak, when to stay silent, when to take up space was all when should I speak? When should I stay silent? I would listen to podcasts and read books on how to come off well in a meeting, and it would say, oh, say this and then pause, do this and then stop. And I had all these rules in my head, and sometimes they were difficult and other times they were like just very structured and formal, and I didn't have warmth, I didn't have connection. And I always questioned, why can't I make true connections? I didn't have very many close friends. I didn't meet these work wives and everything that people have. I didn't do that. And then now I speak when I want to speak. I stay silent when what I have to say isn't productive or kind, or if I feel like the other person is not being productive or kind. It's not a conversation I want to engage in. And I take up space in any room that I want to take up space in. And it's just led by me. So I have my own discernment. I am aware of myself enough to know, oh, I don't like that. That doesn't make me feel good. That's not aligned with who I am. And I choose my spaces in that way. But equally, I am open to challenging myself and saying that doesn't feel like the right space, but I'm going to go and take up some space and see if it is. And I don't feel any shame or any I don't belong here or anything like that when I go into spaces or when I speak something that, you know, when you sit there and you've got that question and you go, oh, it might be a silly question, but like, I don't believe in silly questions anymore. I'm a human being and I don't know the answer. So just tell me the answer. That's it. And it's 100% changed how I speak, show up, choose when and when not to speak into truly how I want to do it rather than how it's shoveled into our streams and our faces that we should do it.
So very good, Pathfinders. I know that y'all are going to enjoy that. I know you enjoyed the full episode. Vikki, let everyone know where they can connect with you on social media.
Oh, thank you. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Vikkidotcom.
All right. Remember, Pathfinders, that sharing our experiences is not only empowering, it can help light the path. We did it. We're rolling on. We're rolling on. We're rolling on. 26. I'm just doing these, writing down the timestamps. All right.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last part. Okay, so the Sunday direction. The main thing to say is two things. One, here's your Sunday direction. You can say whatever you want, or you can follow the script. But then also to get the name of the podcast in there that you're going to be on Tuesday for a new episode. So
okay.
With this though, I'm gonna do a solo layout, so I won't be in the.
Okay, that's grand.
All right, so let me know when you're ready.
I'm just shimming you around so I've got the script at the top of my screen.
No problem. And it's not, I mean, you read it, don't read it. It's let the Lord lead you. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Look, let me mute myself because I'm like, yeah, okay. Woo, woo. All right, hold on, mute.
Here is your Sunday direction. This week, pay attention to how much of who you are is shaped by how others see you and how much your power exists beyond that. I'm Vikki Feltham. Join me Tuesday for a new episode of the Light the Path podcast, where we talk about identity, resilience, and learning to stand confidently in who you are becoming, even when the world sees you differently.
We did it! Right at 27 minutes. That was good. Yay. Thank you so much. And then the Friday before the episode comes out, I'll send an email over letting you know, hey, on Sunday, the Sunday direction come out. Tuesday, the episode will come out. I don't have the schedule right here in front of me because I put you down somewhere. But I'll let you know a week ahead. But in the meantime, in between time, I'll connect with you on social media so that way we're already connected.
Yeah, amazing. Great. Thank you.
Much. Thank you for your story. That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.
Yes. Enjoy the rest of the day. Talk soon.
Thanks. You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.